foremost, I'll just say this, like super casual conversation, mad relaxed, nothing stressful here. And if you don't like anything that you say, just let us know and we'll take it out. So, it's that's how we do it.
If I have trits, I didn't mean to say
that. Yeah. If you have a quick episode, it's all good.
Man, I got a story about that one day. I do. You see a lot of things.
This is like a real thing
with these machines. What's that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. You want to hear it really quick? So we haven't started recording, so I'll tell you real quick. I went to a convention one time with the machine. And so can you imagine you go to when they have the main speaker, the main presenter who comes on for an hour and everybody is in the room for an hour. And I've never seen so many random cuss words thrown out at people at the same time. It was pretty remarkable.
So you went to a Tourette's conference? This is like a conference,
a convention.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, an actual convention in Vegas. And there must have been about, it would be in Vegas. Of course it would be. Must have been about 75 people. And so it was trying to think of the word. I don't know if there's an adjective I can quite use to describe it, except you can sort of let your imagination go wild into the words and things that were said and expressed repeatedly in such interesting fashion. But
I think I'm at the wrong meeting.
No, but side note, the machine actually works. The machine actually helps with that a lot, and so that's why we're there. But yeah, in any event, just to be there at that particular, to be a fly on the wall at that particular moment with the keynote speaker, that's what it was. It was fairly a story for off the record.
Cool. Well, definitely have to tell me that one the very next time that we're back in Vegas, once we actually do shows again. But if it's cool, let's just kind of dive right in. I want to be really respectful of everyone's time. Did you press record? Cool.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, right.
So no, good, bro. So I'm really excited to have Ashley, the Spider Monkey Yoder, on the actual podcast with us. And this is something that Josh put us in, actually linked up here. And when I found out you were like really focused in how you work through a lot of your injuries and just overtraining is something that you're really mindful of, it seems like. I really kind of want to have that, quick conversation with you about what those protocols are for you and how you kind of go about training and then bouncing back. So welcome onto the podcast, first and foremost.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I think people would think I was a sales rep for the machine as much as I push it. So, but yeah, it's such an important part of my training regimen. Fighters, we always joke around saying that we age in dog years. And I mean, it's so true because you're taking such a beating on our bodies. And believe it or not, I was introduced to the machine, I think 2015 is the first machine that my chiropractor who introduced me, Dr. Kenneth Toy in Temecula. And oh my gosh, I will not lie to you. I'll be 100% real. The first time I was going on the Ultimate Fighter. So I was on season 23 of Ultimate Fighter. It was the week before I was leaving. I didn't really have any injuries. So I went in, and I was trying this machine. I'm like, this is kind of crazy. It makes a weird, crazy noise. He was showing me with the chains and I'm like, and I didn't really get attached to it at that point. Right. So I was like, all right. So I get on the show. I was gone for 7 weeks. And then, I came back injured and it was to the point where I couldn't do anything. I had an arm dislocation during jiu-jitsu at some point. And he's like, yeah, you could definitely try the machine out. So that's when I actually started falling in love with it. So it's definitely helped me. Definitely. It's going to be a part of my career until, I'm done fighting. So, and even after probably. So.
I really love that. I mean, I really love hearing that too, because I'm talking about now I spent maybe 6 months right before the actual pandemic doing some grappling. And I'm talking about super white belt. I was getting smashed, nonstop. But you get these dings throughout the whole training process. It's almost impossible not to, right? Even if you're trying to kind of be super cautious with it, mainly I think because I was such a novice, I didn't know what I was doing. But can you take us back to as you're trying to go through that first round, how was that first treatment like? after you had that injury? Like, was it something that was immediate impact, or was it something that took some time to kind of, get you to kind of buy into it? Like after that first injury, once you actually used it, was it immediate, or was it something that took multiple sessions?
It took a couple sessions. The first session, you could feel, I was 100, like just the feeling alone, you could feel a different vibration versus when I wasn't injured, like you really got that sensation, like something was working, something was doing something. What? I'm not sure, because I'm not a scientist, but it really, I was like, okay. And then, so one of the things, that he was really big on is, staying consistent with it. You have to stay consistent. And I stress this to every single person I push on that, because, we're all guilty of like, all right, I'll try it, salt baths, I'll try ice baths, and you do it one time. And I mean, yeah, of course you get some effects maybe from it, a little relief, maybe it's a placebo, who knows? But I will tell you, when I was consistent with it, I went from not being able to hit a mitt at all. I couldn't extend my arm at like to the fullest without like almost being in tears. 3 weeks after using the machine, I was using it twice a week at that time, I think, and I had full range back. I was hitting, didn't have as pain like I was, and that's when I was sold. I was like, yo, this is the real deal. So from that point on, anytime I had an injury, I was not even going to the doctor. I was like, Dr. Toy, I wasn't getting x-rays. I was like, I want to do the machine, so he'd always, I was bringing so many clients into him. He's such an amazing guy. And for him to be able to even have one of those in an area like this, where there are a lot of athletes, dirt bike riders, there's, multiple professional fighters in Temecula. So, I keep saying athletes, but I have friends that are not athletic at all that I've sent in there with arthritis and things like that, that have seen results. So, I think the biggest thing though is consistency. If you're not consistent, you're probably not going to get the results you think you want. So
it's like diet and exercise.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
100%. Anything, drinking water. You can drink water one day. It's not going to do shit for you. Sorry. You can drink water every day. You're going to see better skin. You're going to feel better. And, it's things like that. So yeah, consistency for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Because you know what, a lot of times you're absolutely right. You hear so many people come past with the latest and greatest thing that you probably get overwhelmed, especially as a pro fighter. I bet you get a lot of different supplements coming your way, a lot of different, sleep aids or any other type of things that are just kind of come into the market, because there's a lot of stuff, lots of fluff, and there are a couple good things too. But being disciplined with it, only 2 weeks is pretty good turnaround too, I gotta say. Because if it was a shoulder dislocation, that's like a joke type of thing. That can put people out for a nice little bit of time. So hats off to you for that.
Yeah, for sure. It was crazy. And how bad the injury was, I never got an MRI. But I will tell you, future down the road, I've had a lot of injuries. I broke my hip last year, and I was kind of at a standstill. I broke my femoral head. I didn't tell anybody for a long time. Actually, Dr. Toy was probably the first person that I did tell. I actually went into his doctor's office. He has an x-ray machine. So we x-rayed it, and he's like, yeah, you for sure broke it. And that was I just had an x-ray. So I won't go into details on how I broke it, because as a professional fighter, I shouldn't be on extracurricular things, aka dirt bikes. But what happened was there was an accident. It was not that big of a deal, but being a fighter, the wear and tear on our body anyway, I think was just something that it was kind of like a freak accident almost. But I was in so much pain. I couldn't walk. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to go to the real doc. Like, I don't want to go get like an emergency room, So I started doing the machine 3 times a week for, I think the beginning started like 3 months, and I was feeling better, so 4 months after the injury. So I took like a month off, because I went home back to Indiana for 2 weeks for Christmas. So I took almost a month off from that time, thinking, the machine healed me, and I took that time off, and I tried to come back on the mats, and I was in tears before we could even start the actual, we just barely did the warm up. And let me tell you, I'm a girl with all guys. I don't cry. Like, I don't cry. Like, I cry, but not at the gym. Like that's like, I have to have the hard face on, and I was literally in tears, like, man, what's wrong? Thinking like that machine, like it didn't work this time. So I ended up going to get an MRI. I got the MRI, finding out, later, 4 months after the injury, I had a 25% tear in my adductor. I had pulled some bone from my pelvis, and then I still had a hairline fracture in my femoral head. So I went back to Dr. Toy, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay consistent this time. And I stayed consistent, and I fought twice when they told me that I was gonna need surgery to create blood flow where that femoral head break was. So I am living proof that like I went from holy shit, this is a serious injury. It could, keep me from fighting this year, and plus COVID and everything going on. I was really kind of freaked out about that, but I stayed consistent, and I'm telling you, like my hip is as good as new. I have not had another MRI since then. I don't want to go back in the hospital just yet, but I will tell you, I fought twice since I broke it, and I went from not being able to walk to full on. I just won my last fight. So yeah, it's an incredible machine.
Big congratulations on that. I mean, honestly, there's nothing more to be said. I mean, like that right there is the actual icing on it. I mean, Josh, did you have anything else that you want to kind of throw in there, brother?
What's funny is every single question that we had from other doctors and practitioners that put out there, she answered in just her stories. They wanted to know how she used it in recovery, if there's any specific injuries. Like you covered all the questions from the peanut gallery. That's pretty impressive.
And one day when I have extra money to buy one, I'm gonna have my own. So just keep doing what you guys are doing. You're amazing. I'm like, even when my friends live in Colorado, I'm like, I go to the little website. My chiropractor, Dr. Toy, gave me like, find a Pulsed Energy machine near you, which is probably one of the smartest things you could have done, because I send that link to people and they can find the places near them. So
that's awesome.
I mean, I'm not a sales rep at all, but I will promote something I believe in, and I truly believe in your machine and what you guys are doing. So I am so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And you know what? I have a question for you. Now
Yes.
that I looked at you answered all of the good questions. And so now I have one, just thinking about somebody who is like a weekend warrior that likes to work out. Have you used the machine at all in basic recovery when you don't have an injury, right? When you're training and you're doing it for just sort of post-workout recovery or performance enhancement or any of that stuff? Have you tried it in any of those avenues?
I want to, like, even when I was feeling better on my leg, if I go in and kind of have like little issues, or if I was feeling, when I'm in fight camp, I'm usually drained to the max. So we've done like my adrenals, we've done my heart, and I've 100% felt a difference just from those, just detoxing, whatever, recharging. That's pretty much the most I've used it for, just because it's expensive. If you don't own one, it is an expensive tool, but it's that important to me. It's important. I have a great relationship and sponsorship through my chiropractor now, but there's a lot of people that don't. So I try not to abuse it as much as, I want to use it as much as I can. But yeah, I've done a couple of extra ones, just like the adrenals. I've done it on my heart. I think at one point I had a sinus infection one time and we put it on my face. So yeah, I've used it, but not like a regular basis. And I saw that you can use it in water. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's really interesting. There's a video that we did with a physicist, and sometimes the smartest people in the world are the most eccentric people in the world, right? And so this guy gets into a hot tub and brings the machine into the hot tub with him and does a treatment that way. And he didn't bring the whole box, but he brought the loop applicator and did a treatment that way. And he pointed out, what he showed was that, when you feel it go to your bad spot and sort of recreate the pain, you don't feel it as the same when it's in the water than when it's not in the water. So he did that sort of treatment, which is interesting because it works. But so here's my other question then. If you had a machine, right? If you woke up and right next to the couch there's a machine when that time comes, how would you use it in recovery? Like if you had one there, how would you use it to recover or injury? Like what way would you, if you sort of had carte blanche with the machine, you woke up and it's there, how would you use it in a different, like
every day? I always use it on the major parts, of course, being a jiu-jitsu practitioner and fighter, hips, arms, like I hit every part of the body if I can, even if it's like 4 minutes here, 4 minutes there. Definitely I would use on my heart, my adrenals, just as a like function of like keeping those things fluid, getting that blood flow going. It's the best thing that like I think you were telling me a long time ago when I first got introduced to you, that it's like it's a simple concept to explain or to kind of tell someone, but it's such a deep concept of what it is. And I think that's like the best way to kind of put it, is like it's such a high tech machine, but you understand that the idea is we're creating, that energy and that promoting blood flow and things like that. So, and that's just, layman's terms of what I understand and what I felt and created of the healing of the cells, of getting them, back on track. So, yeah, I would use it every day, every day. I love that machine. It's like, I couldn't say enough great things about it. Like I said, people think I'm like sponsored because I'm like, you got to try this machine. And every time I say it, they're always like, oh, like a TINS unit. I'm like, no, it's better.
Right. Yeah. 100%, man. I mean, well, you know what? I'm going to start working on Josh for you a little bit about getting you sponsored, because I mean, you're the right type of person that should be close to the actual machine. I mean, I think it's something, it's people like you that actually love it and actually get it, that, you would probably find so many different ways to kind of apply it. And post recovery is something that is where this is really emerging heavy in, especially people that are doing grappling sports. I mean, you're having contact on a regular. People, if you get in the ring with like a novice like myself, might be like an idiot and then try to go for you hard, opposed to try to like learn the moves, right? All that stuff is the stuff that will at least set people up to be successful throughout their actual training process and keeping their cells charged. So cool.
Yeah,
I really do thank you for this time though. Honestly, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love it. And, I'm 100%, like I don't back things up that I don't believe in. So you guys are doing amazing, and just keep pushing on, keep making videos. I can repost whatever. I've seen you guys doing on horses, there's so many different ways that, I only know this much. So, and I 100% embody it like it's my own product. So I do appreciate it. And yeah, keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thanks for everything. And obviously we're going to stay in touch.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Really nice meeting you, Ashley. Later.
You too. Bye.